All right, everybody, had a little technical glitch there. Sorry about that a few seconds ago. But everybody following Move, Think, Smile, and everybody inside of our integrative marketing and functional business growth group, especially all of you health and wellness practitioners. It's Adam and Eléa coming at you seriously live today with part number 3 in our series on a crash course in constraints. Now, this is a 4-part series to really get in there and tackle these constraints that we're going to talk about here in a second. But if you missed part number 1, structure, that was all about how to set up your company to first and foremost make sure your patients and clients are getting the strongest results possible in the fastest period of time, while having a healthy bottom line and not breaking you in half in the process. Number 2 was all about messaging, and that is how to communicate your true value. So anything you say in a conversation or you write down in some type of a written message takes people from who the heck is this person to thanks for taking my credit card, and really getting people who want to get their health back and hire you now. In today's series, part number 3 episode, this is all about marketing. And I think, Eléa, and tell me, I would say this is the most requested topic that we hear about. How do I attract people? Would you agree?
Yes, I think marketing is definitely one of these things that feels ever elusive to people because, there is kind of no perfect, cookie cutter way to do this. And so I feel like it's always shrouded in a lot of mystery and a lot of, what works, what doesn't work. And it can be exciting and frustrating at the same time.
So what I want to do is I want to start with a couple questions right now, because it's really important to determine, and based off what you guys put in the comments, and you can do this now, or if you're watching the replay later, you can do this. So my first question is, how many of you have actually done marketing for your company? Just type a yes. I've done marketing for my company. Well, some people haven't. There's some people that have had a company and it's just kind of happened and they haven't actively done marketing. So if you've just done it and you kind of told a couple people about it, that's kind of like a referral thing. I'm not going to really consider that. That's still marketing. But I mean, who's actually done like legitimate marketing, trying to do cold outreach, people who've never heard of you before? That's the first question. Put that in the box, put in the comments below. Now, once we know that, the reason that this is important is to kind of decide, okay, have you actually done marketing and how can we tailor this today to you? Now, the second question I have for everybody is this. How many of you have done organic marketing, which is what a lot of people call the free stuff, right? You've gone out there, you've put sweat equity into it, and you've done organic marketing for your company. This could be having a Facebook business page. This could be having a Facebook group. This could be having Instagram following. This could be doing YouTube videos. It could be doing lives. It could be having a blog or a vlog, posting content, whatever it is. If you've done any type of marketing to publicize your business or public relations without paying for it, that's organic marketing. If you've done that before, I want you to type organic in the comments below. Again, this is going to help us tailor what we're doing today to make sure that you're making progress with your company. Now, the third question I have is, okay, so the first question is, have you done marketing for your company? It's yes or no. The second question is, have you done organic marketing for your company? The third question is, have you done paid advertising, paid marketing for your company? And this could be either you've tried paid advertising, like on Facebook, or maybe you've bought business cards and you've handed them out, or maybe you've written a book and you've tried to sell it, or any type of paid marketing, or maybe you've hired a PR firm to do some press releases for you. Have you done any type of paid publicity, paid marketing, paid promotion? If you have, I want you to type paid into the box below. Now, the fourth question I have, and this is the final one, is did you do it or did you delegate it out? This is the difference, because there's a lot of people who just do not like marketing. And from day one, they're like, I'm going to get a virtual assistant, or I'm going to hire an ad agency. Yeah, right. Or I'm going to hire an ad agency, or I've got my niece I'm going to hire and have her post all this stuff for me, write me some stuff and just get some content and do this stuff. So if you've ever done any type of paid marketing, or if you've ever delegated out the marketing, and whether you paid for it or not, that means you found somebody to do it for you, whether you paid them or not, either somebody in your company, somebody in your circle, or you found a third-party company. I want you to put that down, that I delegated my marketing out. And this is what's going to drive what we're going to talk about today. Now, when you guys are answering those questions, remember, have you done marketing before? Yes or no? Have you done organic marketing? Have you done paid marketing? And did you do the marketing yourself, or have you delegated out? Or maybe the answer is both. Maybe I've done both organic and paid. I've tried it myself and I've done it out. And number 5 is I want to know what the results were. Did you have much success with it? And it's pretty simple. Yes, I'm happy with the results. No, I'm not happy with the results. Answer those now, because today is part number 3 in our crash course in constraints. And if you look at this, I guess before we dive into this, Eléa, I think the first thing you have to understand is, like, if you haven't watched part 1 and you don't have your business structure down, this is not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't watched part 2, messaging, and you don't have your messaging dialed in, what we're teaching today is not going to work. So you've got to take a functional and integrative approach with your business and have those 2 in place before what we're teaching today works. And this is all about eliminating those 3 constraints affecting the wellness industry. Number 1, the impact constraints. And that is when you have low success rates because the people coming in aren't following protocols, or you're not having the impact that you want because you just don't have enough people coming in. Time constraints, you're spending too much time in the business instead of working on the business, or there's no life, there's no time for life outside of work, or there's no time to grow the business because of constraint number 3, and those are cash flow constraints, and either the profit margin is too low, there's not enough take home because the expenses are too high, or you just don't have enough cash flowing in.
Yep.
And if that's you, well, you're going to love what we're talking today. So Eléa, we are at checkpoint number 3, marketing. So what's your first 2 cents on, what would you, first piece of advice you would give somebody when it comes to the marketing part, especially in health and wellness?
Well, I think the first piece is what you hit on earlier, which is we really have to change our relationship to marketing, because so many people in the health and wellness space feel, I can't tell you the number of people that we work with that come in and they're just like, they don't really like the marketing. They don't have a great relationship with it. And we want to start there with changing the relationship that you have with your marketing, because that's really, really important. Because if you go into a bunch of marketing strategies with just kind of like this love-hate relationship with marketing, or a hate-hate relationship with marketing, then it's just going to make the whole process, that much like worse and that much more painful. And so we really just want to get you guys thinking about, what would it take for me to love marketing? What would I have to believe about myself in order to really enjoy the marketing process? And I think that's one of the most important places to start.
So let's start. What's the first step here?
Yeah. So the first step is really, lightening your marketing load, really making sure that you're starting to ditch all the marketing stuff that's weighing you down. And Adam, I think this is where you're really great at going, okay, yeah, these are all the things that people have tried. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, what is it going to take to just release those old strategies, set them aside, and really take a hard look at how you're doing your marketing and what is really working?
Yeah. And this is where I like to kind of, like, so many people out there, you see these marketing funnels, you see ads for them all the time. Do this. We made $1 million with a 3-minute video. You'll see, oh, just do this. This is all you need to do to land people on your calendar, or just do this. And the reality is, that's kind of cool. Any marketing strategy can work. We'll kind of talk about that. But when you're lightening your marketing load, most people overcomplicate what they need to do, because the health and wellness industry is a very different industry. Mm-hmm. And what we suggest you do is always start with your warm network. Now, what is a warm network? Well, a warm network are people who've heard of you before. Now, obviously, you have warm network like friends and family, that they know who you are. They know what you're doing. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about pestering them. We're talking about people who are in your circle of influence. And a lot of people are like, well, Adam, I don't have a warm network. Well, everybody has one. So you always start with a warm network, even if you don't have one. And we'll give an example of how Andrea Harrison didn't think she had a warm network either. She didn't have an advertising budget. And so we just kind of tapped into her circle of influence with just a couple things. And in 30 days, she got her first 5 clients into her hormone balancing, natural hormone balancing. Really cool stuff. So always start with your warm network, because so many people jump to the complicated crap. They jump to trying to build a following. They jump to trying to blog stuff. They try to post content. They try to build an email list. That stuff can work down the road. Don't get me wrong. but that's not where you need to start. If you've already got a Facebook page, if you've already got a Facebook group, if you've already got a little email list, if you've got a past client or patient list, these are all things in your warm network. Even if you have a personal profile. Now, I know a lot of people, when they hear that, like, oh gosh, here we go, I'm gonna have to set up my personal profile. That's not what we're talking about. Okay. We do not want to mix church and state. We're not going to go on your personal profile and say, hey, we got Ray-Bans for $19.99. Like, that's not what we're doing here. But there is a way to ethically and with integrity let people know in your warm network, even if you don't think you have one, just on your personal profile, kind of what you're doing now, and inviting them to reach out, and they will. And that's exactly how Andrea was able to land her clients and get her business boosted. And if you do have a larger warm network, here's the stats. Now, if history repeats itself, and it often does, 10% of the people who know you in your warm network are likely to hire you at your new price that we talked about in part number 1, structure, within the next 6 months. So in part number 1, we talked about having a $5,000 offer in the diabetes example we used. So if you've got 100 people, just 100 people following you on Facebook, you got a group, you've got an Instagram business thing, you got an email list, whatever it is, you just got 100 people. The stats are 10 of them will likely become your client in the next 6 months if you do this right. That means that's $50,000 in opportunity sitting right there under your feet. So think about that for a second. Eléa?
Yeah. And that reminds me, one of our favorite quotes and one of the things we always told ourselves when we were starting Move, Think, Smile was just really trying to remember, hey, what are the acres of diamonds right underneath our feet? What is available to us right here? Because a lot of times, like you said, we go out there and we start looking for everything else, all the shiny things that are outside of our sphere. So I love that. And I love thinking about that. And I think the other important thing that we really want to drive home today is that any marketing strategy can work, right? It can really work as long as you have your messaging dialed in. That's the most important piece. And this is what we see time and time again. If you're out there doing a lot of that organic marketing or even paid marketing, if your message is not dialed in, it's going to fall flat. You're not going to get the type of response that you want. And I would say what most people end up having is not a marketing problem, but a messaging problem. And this is a really, really important point when we're talking about marketing, because we're always looking to see, what is the root cause of the marketing issue if it's not performing how you want. Now, the other thing that's so important is that, with so much privacy concern right now, so many new restrictions in the digital marketing space, targeting the right people and being able to build the correct audience that you want, well, it's becoming a little bit, it's more difficult. It's more restrictive. So your messaging is more important than ever before. Let me repeat that. Your messaging is more important than ever before, because now what's happening is people really have to lean on their messaging versus leaning on having the guaranteed right eyeballs, looking at their stuff by, selecting these perfect audiences. And you guys know what I'm talking about if you've ever done paid ads.
Can I stack on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it used to be, if you help diabetics lower their A1C naturally, you could literally go into Facebook or YouTube or Google and you say, okay, show me everybody that is interested in the American Diabetes Association. Boom, right message in front of the right eyeballs. It was easy, right? They don't let you do that anymore, right? They've taken away a lot of these interests, a lot of these targeting. And they don't let you really say the word diabetes in an ad anymore. And sometimes even in a post or an email, they're even shutting that down, like ActiveCampaign and HubSpot, Aweber, Constant Click, Entreport. They're having these filters to make sure that the stuff going out, that the users, right, the people in the company are hiring those services to send our emails, are making sure that we're not making claims and warranties. So you got to be really, really careful about how you say things. And if you phrase it the right way, you can not have to target anybody. You can literally just kind of have like a general population. You don't have to use the term diabetes, and you will have people lining up on your calendar. That's how important messaging is. Eléa?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think, again, we just always really want to hone back in on that, because it is so, so important. And really important why we want to kind of look at a business, as we talked about in structure. We really want to look to see what kind of foundation that you have.
Yeah.
And I think this is also really, really important because a lot of people go out there with a very general foundation. They go out there kind of with a message that kind of feels like it covers everyone because they don't want to exclude anyone. And yet it ends up speaking to no one. And so this is a really, really important piece. But the next thing we really want to get into is how to have an integrative relationship to marketing, right, Adam?
Yeah.
So really, how do I take my message? How do I, now that I've got that dialed in, how do I have this more integrative relationship with marketing?
Well, first, let's make sure we understand that any marketing strategy can work.
Yep.
Okay, this is really important. Please stop trying to duplicate others. This is the biggest faux pas that we see health and wellness practitioners making with their company. They're trying to mimic the strategy that other people are teaching. Hey, this 5-minute video is going to make everything gravy. It might for some people, it might not for others, but I can tell you right now, it's not going to work for anyone if your messaging is off. And if your structure isn't in place, because you got to have your structure in place, your program, your design, your delivery, your process, you got to really understand that. And so you can then communicate your true value. So people do want to click on your stuff when they see it. So any marketing strategy can work. And for the love of avocados, please stop trying to duplicate others and chasing down shiny marketing funnels. This is not about the funnel. This is about the message. And when the message is on, then any marketing strategy can work. So remember in the first 2 episodes, structure is the proverbial shop that we're setting up. Messaging is the sign that we're going to hang out the store. Marketing is where do we put the sign? That's all marketing is. It's the channel we put it on. So the question that I want to kind of dive into is, integrative relationship marketing. This is what we call being in true alignment because we really wanted to have powerful client impact. Now, a lot of people will use the term organic marketing. A lot of people will use the term relationship marketing, but integrative relationship marketing is a different thing. At first, well, it must be for integrative practitioners. And well, that is kind of true, but that's not what it means.
Yeah.
Integrative relationship marketing means integrating our messaging into every part of the business, every crevice of the business. So everyone is on the same page saying the same thing. We see this being the ball dropped on this so many times. Somebody will come up with a great idea and they'll put it out there, and then somebody will kind of click on it. Then they'll come over to like your website. Your website says, "I'm a health coach, buy me." And it does not integrate with the ad you just put together. Not only you are the marketer, everybody in your company is the marketer, and you are marketing all the time. This is a very important concept. No, every day, every time you think about the business, you are marketing the company because you're coming up with ideas. Every time you open your mouth and talk about the company, you are marketing the company. Every email you write, every post you make, every song you create. Am I going down the police, right? Every ad you make, right? So every post you take, they'll be watching you. No kidding. So integrative relationship marketing is so crux to making sure that you've got the message dialed in. And then every channel out there, anytime you utter your business and what you do and work with a patient or a client, that they understand what you do. Right, Eléa?
Yeah, it's so important. And I love that song that you just came up with on the fly because it's so true. And we also really want to remind you that part of integrative marketing is like you said, Adam, I mean, the business owner, you're always in that marketing mode. And so to understand too that your potential clients, they like interacting with real people because, people like to engage with people, not companies. And I think that this is also really, really important. Now, you might be saying, hey, well, people love Coke and Coke is a company. But the thing is that this is not the same when it comes to the health and wellness space. And, when people don't feel well, they are looking for a level of connection. A lot of people who don't feel well feel isolated, even if they have a lot of people around them, even if there's a lot of people in their family, because again, when you don't feel well, there's that isolating feeling and you want to be seen by other people, or you want other people around you that know what it's like to be in the struggle you're in. And this is where it can be really, really powerful because we want to look at, again, Adam, as you said, not, talking about, hey, hire me for health coaching, but hey, these are the people that I help, and these are their struggles. And that is really magnetizing when people feel like, oh, it's a real person and they get me. And that's how you build a really strong human connection with your business and, of course, increase your prospect equity and really get people listening to you and really get people following you. Because again, if you can describe the problem better than they can, or you get it at a level that no one else in their circle gets, they're automatically going to want to follow you. And that's really, really important.
So
And then the next, go ahead.
So I just want to highlight real quick, prospect equity.
Yeah.
This might be a new term for a lot of people. So when you have people coming into your warm network, whether you're doing paid advertising, they see something, they click on it, they give you their email, their name, their phone number, whatever it is, or somebody's already following you at Instagram, a Facebook group, Facebook page, YouTube, whatever, TikTok, it doesn't matter. They know who you are. So when you have prospects, people, the potential of them hiring you for your health and wellness services, well, with equity, it's just like buying a house. So think about this. You buy a house for $100,000, you put 20% down, 20 grand, you owe the bank 80. So basically the bank owns 80% of the house. You own 20% of the house. You have 20% equity. So as you pay down the mortgage over time, you get more equity until the house is paid off, and then you fully own the house. So it's the same thing with prospects. So if you've got 100 people coming in and you're just sitting out there handing out calendar links, book a call, book a call, book a call, you're going to erode. Yes, you will probably get a couple calls. Yes, you might get a client or two, but you're going to erode prospect equity to where they're going to bounce from you. They're going to unfollow you. They're going to unsubscribe from you. So it's very important that you learn how to balance prospect equity. And that is where integrative relationship marketing excels. This is all about building a human connection with somebody and not trying to sell a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Even though we do have a sales transaction involved, because there's going to be some type of payment for your services. Eléa?
Yeah, no, you're totally spot on. And when you do that, what happens is you create a curated opportunity stream, and it's important to keep showing up consistently in your business in the right vehicle. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a second. But again, when you do these things that we just talked about, you are going to start getting a very highly, what's the word I'm looking for, Adam? Powerful, perfect, ideal client base watching what you're doing. And then again, as we said, people around your warm network, if history repeats itself, it's about a 10% conversion. So this is really, really important.
All right. So I want everybody right now to answer down in the comments, how big do you think your warm network is? Like you don't have to go and like click on all your numbers, just kind of ballpark. It's like, I got a couple hundred people on Facebook, and I've got maybe 100 people over here. Maybe I've got 300, or maybe I've got 5, or maybe I've got I've only got 123 friends. Like that's my warm network. That's all I got. Put that number in the box below. And while you're doing that, let's talk about curated opportunity stream. And what is a curated opportunity stream? Well, it means, as Ellie said, it's consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every day you have new fuel coming into your warm network. Because if you've got a tree with low-hanging fruit and that's your warm network, well, if you pick all the low-hanging fruit, pretty soon your warm network is exhausted. So you've got to get to either higher fruit up in the tree, or you got to find another tree with more fruit, right? You got to grow more fruit in order to pick it. So that's what a curated opportunity stream is. So when people come in, you want a consistent way to make sure that they're always flowing into your realm of influence. And then you're building that equity so they want to take action with you. They want to take action with you. And so the question I have right now, the next question is, and put it in the box below, who wants the little known industry loophole for ethically taking people from who the heck is this practitioner person to thank you for taking my credit card and helping me with this big health problem, and doing that in under 72 hours? Put yes below if you want to know. Who wants to know the little known health industry loophole for ethically taking people from who the heck are you to here's my credit card in less than 72 hours? Eléa talked about you got to be in the right vehicle. Well, let's talk about the vehicle, because the way that we do this in health and wellness industry that we have found is extremely powerful for our own health programs. We have found every one of the 207 practitioners that we worked with last year, it's very powerful. And those 207 practitioners transformed the lives of 6,211 people. So when I say the ambulance effect, use it, use it. And we're going to explain right now exactly how that works. So I want you to pretend that you look outside and out in the street in front of wherever you are, whether it's your office, your home office, your backyard, whatever it is, that there's somebody in the street and they just got a shot in the leg. They have a bullet in the leg. Okay, that's the health problem. Let's say they're bleeding out, which that's what health problems do to people, technically, right? They slowly degrade someone's health till, well, they're not with us anymore. It usually makes their quality of life bad. They can't do things. Next thing you know, it's game over. So hypothetically, someone's been shot in the leg. They call for help and 5 ambulances show up. My question to you is, which one of these ambulances should they choose? Or which one of these ambulances would you choose if you were that person? Ambulance A rolls up. Okay, it comes around the corner. It jumps out. It hands the injured in the street a laptop, and it says, hey, read this free PDF about our Band-Aids. You're going to love all the methods we have. And then after that, you can sign up for, we have got a free challenge. It's a 5-day blood clotting challenge. You can sign up for that, and it's completely free. After that, you can buy our $7 ebook on plant-based healing. And after that, we'll show you how to suture yourself up for a $97 do-it-yourself course. That's ambulance A.
Yes. Okay. Then ambulance B. Ambulance B rolls up and they break out a computer and a big computer monitor and a big old generator. And they hand you that computer monitor and they say, hey, watch our 1-hour webinar on how amazing our ambulance is, all of the special things that we have inside here in the ambulance. And at the end, we'll invite you to apply to learn how to, put that tourniquet on your leg for $497.
Right. So those are the people. It's like, watch our ambulance and see how amazing the credentials are that our paramedics have. And it's all said and done. Wish I got to apply a tourniquet for $497. That's ambulance B. Would you choose that one? Then there's ambulance C. Now, ambulance C, it's not even going fast. The sirens are not on. It casually rolls up. It is not in a hurry. Lady doesn't even get out of the car. She kind of rolls down the window halfway and she's like, hey, we're not taking on patients right now. That looks pretty bad. But if you want, we only take clients like 3 times a year during our launches. If you want, come over to our website. You can sign up for our rapid bullet extraction series. And then next month, when we open the doors again, we'll show you how to pull the lead out with needle nose pliers for only $997. That's ambulance C. Then we have ambulance D.
All right. So ambulance D, I want you to imagine this. They pull up, they run over the curb, they're flying in fast. An over-caffeinated guy gets out of the ambulance and suddenly you are overwhelmed with options. So he's talking really fast and he's saying, hey, look, we're giving away our best bulletproof stuff for free. So follow us, subscribe, sign up. You can get value every single day on duct taping wounds. And of course, buy one of our 20 lead detox packages. And that is definitely going to help you out. And you should for sure sign up before midnight so you can get a really great bonus. Plus, we'll add in 12 free stitches that are valued at $199.97.
So $19.97, 12 free stitches. That's the bonus, right? Probably after the 193rd email lands in your spam box, right?
Right.
Yes.
So
Then
that's ambulance D.
Yeah, it's ambulance D. Now we have ambulance E. It comes around. It doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before. It is jacked up. It is a 4x4 monster ambulance. It is a super ambulance. They come up. They stop right next to the injured. Paramedics get up, go up to him, say, hey, you want to get that bullet out right now? Minimize the pain and scarring? Make you stronger than ever? Get you back to your family and your career faster than ever before? Okay, let's go. Which ambulance do they choose? Put it in the comments below. A, B, C, D, or E. Is it ambulance A with the free PDF and the $97 do-it-yourself course after you do the 5-day free blood clotting challenge? Is it ambulance B that's got the generator and the computer and the amazing 1-hour webinar and all the credentials, and you can apply a tourniquet, do it yourself for $497? Or is it ambulance C, where they're not even taking patients right now? You can come back next month. You're probably going to bleed out before then. Or is it ambulance D, the over-caffeinated dude who's proclaiming bulletproof, bulletproof, bulletproof? Sign up, sign up, sign up. Follow, follow, follow. Duct taping wounds will give you value and free stitches at $19.97 after you pick one of our 30,000 different lead detox packages. We got 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 years, 60 years, and 6 millennia for your entire family. Or is it ambulance E? You want to get that bullet out? minimize the pain and scarring, get you back to life as fast as possible. Okay, let's go. Which one is it? A, B, C, or D, or E?
All right. I'm seeing some E's come through.
Exactly. Exactly. That is the ambulance effect. That's how you want to market. You do not need all of this stuff. Now, how do we implement the ambulance effect? Number one, be the ambulance the client needs. This is super important. How do you do that? First, you communicate your true value, what it is you really do, and the amazing outcome that you deliver. You use a process called think talk to position yourself above all the noise. And this is something that we see people mess up all the time. In health and wellness, if somebody has a disease or dysfunction, what are they not doing very well? Thinking.
Yes.
They're not thinking very well, right?
Yeah.
They're fatigue. Almost everybody with some type of problem is fatigue. Their cognitive power is not where it needs to be. So you need to be able to talk like people think, or we call think talk, to position yourself above all the noise out there, because everybody and their auntie is trying to market to this person, right? Whether it be for their next dinner out, or where they buy gasoline, or where to get their mortgage, or where to buy health insurance, or gosh knows supplements and all this other stuff that we know don't necessarily work to fix the big problem at the root core. So you've got to communicate your true value using think talk. And think talk, the best way to explain it is, if you've ever watched an interview with a single person, that person is just sitting in a chair, and you'll notice that they have different camera angles. Do you all know why they do that? Well, it's because it keeps the brain engaged, right? Because it was just like, if I'm just sitting here by myself and I'm just sitting here talking, you guys will listen, but it's gonna be hard to watch because it'll be boring as crap. So they'll use multiple angles. I've got Eléa with me, so that kind of helps. But in post or written communications, especially if someone's on their phone thumbing, you want to break these sentences up into super small digestible chunks, like 1 to 5 words. You want to break every grammatical rule that's in the English language. Sorry, college English teacher, I'm going to get an F on this one, but I don't care, because it's going to get people to click on it to come in and want to talk to me. Number 3, when you're becoming the ambulance the client needs, you want to get people to take inspired, intelligent action by having conversations that convert, which we will talk about in episode number 4, Enrolling, which we'll be doing probably in the next week or so.
Yep.
So IIA, inspired, intelligent action. Step 1, be the ambulance clients need. Communicate your true value. Use think talk to position yourself above all the noise out there and get people to take inspired, intelligent action. Number 2, show up in the right ambulance. And this is super important. Simple is best. Now, I'm going to use a paid advertising example just because I think it's going to hone in, but we are proponents of do not do paid advertising. Most of you do not need to do that. You definitely don't need to be blogging your butt off. You definitely don't need to be becoming a celebrity with a giant following. You don't need any of that stuff. And if you don't believe me, go watch my interview with Kiki Athanas, where she spent 10 years building an audience of 15,000 people, and she couldn't get her business off the ground. And then 7 days working with us, she got her first $3,000 client. So how do we show up in the right ambulance? 1, attract. You want to get people to make a bold move through some type of verbal or written communication. Usually written is where we're going to start at. That's going to be an email. That could be a simple post. I'm not talking about blogging, posting your butting off. I'm talking about one little post, okay? One little email. Then you want to connect with them on the human level. Start that integrative relationship marketing process. We're dealing with human beings here. We're dealing with moms and dads, sons and daughters, sisters and brothers, and best friends, okay? Every number that you see out there, every comment you see out there, every statistic you see out there is a real human being with a real problem. So you want to learn how to connect with them, and then you want to enroll them into a life of better health, and that's what we call SMILE. So when you're connecting with them, you want them to think differently, enrolling SMILE. So attract is getting them to make a bold move. Connect is getting them to think differently, that there's a better way to handle their health and that it's actually possible for them. And then to enroll into a life of better health, because the butterfly is going to flap its wings and their impact zone is going to increase because they're going to feel better. You're going to feel better. And it's a win-win situation. So that's the move, think, SMILE process. And you can do it with a simple post, to a simple video, to a simple call. And actually, you don't necessarily always have to have the video in between. You can literally do it by a simple announcement or invitation to a simple conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that simple, but most people overcomplicate it. And the ones that are making it simple, it's not working for them because their messaging is off. So remember, you got to be the ambulance the clients need, and you got to show up in the right ambulance. Eléa?
Yeah. So I think, again, this is what we want to move into next is how important it is that you understand your business has bio-individuality, just like your patients and clients are bio-individual. And so we share a lot of different strategies here. We talk about a lot of different things, but again, it's really important to understand, hey, what does my business need right now? And also, what do I need right now to really fuel the business in the most powerful way? So I think, Adam, let's share one of our stories about Kendra and Nicole Coons, because I think this will be a really great example of what we've been talking about here.
All right. So at any time, if you hear, so I guess my first question would be, when we went over the ambulance effect, we did that little test right there. Have any of you ever tried that stuff? And if you have, it's totally cool because we have too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've tried launches. We've tried lead magnets and PDFs.
Yep.
We've tried different packages. We've tried bonuses. We've tried all that stuff, and it just didn't work very well. So comment below if you've tried that stuff. And if it has, just tell us what have you tried and was it successful for you? Some people can have success with it. Again, our philosophy, any marketing strategy can work if your messaging is really on. That's super important there. But I want to talk about Kendra Fitzgerald and Nicole Coons. They're known as the Devoted Mamas, and they are postpartum corrective exercise specialists. One's a yoga teacher, one's a Pilates instructor. Like, they don't have any crazy functional, I guess you could call it functional, like movement health, but like functional medical health. They don't have that. They don't have a nutrition background. They don't have a health coaching background, but they're really good at what they do. And they're having $10,000 days. But before we started working with them, they had tried everything in the book. They had memberships, they had challenges, they had email lists. In fact, they were doing 2 videos a day on their channel, and the subscription was like $30 a month of live workouts. They were pulling in their profit, I think, between the two of them, like $2.35 or something like that each a month when you looked at it, compared to all the time they're putting in the actual money that was coming in. And not only did they tried this for like 2.5 years. So they just couldn't get the business to go. And their husbands were like, guys, you've had a good run. Maybe you should try something else. And they're like, no, we put so much time into this. We really love what they do. So we started working with them. We implemented the ambulance effect, and they, no joke, in the first couple weeks, they took a little thing. They didn't do any paid advertising. They didn't do any crazy webinars. They took a post, they put it on an Instagram profile they had already had, and they did $35,000. Think about that. $35,000. Not only did that, they only had, I think it was 7, maybe 8 clients that came in. And so all of a sudden, they're going from working 8 hours a day, both of them trying to make $2 a month, to really supporting and having amazing success with these people. And their clients are having spectacular results. And they've actually become worth $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a piece because they have had such great results. They want to keep working with Kendra and Nicole. So that's how powerful the ambulance effect is.
Yeah. And I think, again, it's really about finding the marketing strategy that's right for you. And that is so, so critical, along with getting your messaging right, as we talked about before, right? Because again, you could be like, oh, this is the right marketing strategy for me, but then your messaging is off. And so it just doesn't quite sing. So this is where it's just really important that you're always trying to honor the bio-individuality of your business, but also being willing to look at the parts and pieces and go, okay, just because something didn't work before doesn't mean it won't work now with the right messaging and the right marketing strategy. So you've got to be willing to keep churning all of that stuff up until you find the thing that really hits for you. And that is really, really important. And that's how the right strategy will present itself to you. It will really show itself to you.
Yeah. And just take this home. We've said it 3 times already, but there is no right marketing strategy that's right for everyone. There just isn't. But there is one that's right for your health company. And when we say bio individuality, so I'm an integrative nutrition health coach on top of all this stuff. So I get it. Like Elia's a life coach. We get it. What might be food for Elia could be poison for me and vice versa. Marketing is food for your business. And we see so many people out there trying stuff that isn't working. Comment below. Have you tried a marketing strategy that didn't work very well, or the results were less than amazing? And you're like, I must suck at this, or nobody wants my stuff. Maybe I should just go outside and eat some worms. Like, it's all happened to us all. So again, I want to just kind of highlight here, you don't have to get out there. You don't need paid advertising. You absolutely do not need to build a following. You do not need to be posting a bunch of crap and buckets of content on social media the entire time. Case study, Andrea Harrison. I did an interview with her a few weeks ago. You can go watch it. She completely switched her careers and enrolled her first 5 high-end clients within 30 days of launching using these strategies. Now, obviously, she had a structure set up. We helped her with that, right? So first and foremost, her clients were getting the best results possible in the fastest period of time. Plus, she was at a price that made sense. It was a bargain to the client, but it was very healthy for the company. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch part 1. Then we dialed in her messaging. We got her unique selling proposition down, which was, okay, I want to work with women with hormone imbalances. Cool. Between like 40 and 50 years old. Right on. Easy enough. Done. That's the niche. That's all we need to too many people focus on the niche. Then we got her unique mechanism down. And that is the process that she uses. So when she explains it to people, it gets people to go, yes, that's what I want. Yes, that's what I want. We explain that in part number 2, messaging. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. So what we did is we created this, and then the marketing strategy we did, well, we created this Think Talk little piece of copy that she put on her Facebook profile because that's all she had. I think she said 150 or something like that, like high school friends. I don't know. Anyways, she made him an invitation. She's like, hey, I've been doing this here. This is what's going on. This is why I'm doing it. If anybody's interested, hit me up. They hit her up. She got 5 clients in the first 30 days, fresh out of the gate. Now imagine if you've got a bigger warm network, what you can do for your health company. Imagine if you have 200 people, 300 people, 1,000 people, and there's some companies out there that are in this group right now that have 5, 10, 15, 20, even 100,000 followers because they've been doing this for 10 years and they have all this stuff and all this prospect, this giant warm network, but they're just not utilizing it properly. So that's what we really encourage you guys to do. So when it comes to those 3 constraints, that means impact constraints. You're not having the impact you want because there's not enough people coming in, or the people coming in aren't getting the results you want them to get because they're not following protocols. Time constraints. You don't have enough time to work on the business because you're working in the business. There's no time for life outside of work, or there's no time to really grow the business. Become a constraint number 3. Those are the cash flow constraints. And that means the profit margins are too low and there's just not enough take home, or there's just not enough cash flow coming in. If that's happening and no one's taking action with your marketing, well, first look at the root cause structure, make sure that's in. Look at the root cause messaging, that's in. Then fix the root cause marketing. So many people try to manage and mitigate the symptoms of an unhealthy business. And this is why we have such a high percentage of businesses failing in the first 6 months and then completely closing in the first 2 years.
Yeah, this is always a big struggle. Those first couple years in business are a push for a lot of people, because most people that we work with, it's like, this is not just handed to them on a silver platter. It takes work. It takes time. It takes, some sweat equity to kind of, again, start to figure out what your direction is. Are you giving the right message? Are you really giving yourself as the business owner the right fuel? So there are just a lot of parts and pieces that go into this. But as Adam was saying, the big thing we want you guys to take away from today is to really think about, picking the low-hanging fruit from your warm network first, and really being able to maximize that, like Adam shared with Andrea.
Right. Yeah. So fix the root cause marketing. We want to eliminate metabolic business syndrome. And if you tuned in for the first episode, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you know what metabolic syndrome is to a human being. Things get sluggish. They just kind of slow down. They're not operating at full potential, right? And if you don't fix it, it shortens things. Same thing with a business, metabolic business syndrome. You got cash flow constraints, time constraints, and impact constraints, and you can fix them by simply changing your marketing. As LA said, pick the low-hanging fruit from your warm network first. Always, always, always. Even if you're marketing right now and you're like, even if you've got like doing whatever you're doing, you should be picking from the warm network first. You should stop all the other stuff. That's just my 2 cents. Use integrative relationship marketing. Remember, there's 2 parts to this. One is integrating the message. So you're saying the same thing in the same way at every communication point, every touch point, all the time. But also you're working with human beings and you're building that human connection. That's what's really important. Then develop a curated opportunity stream. So most people try to go for the kill. They try to go for the sale right out of the gate. That can work sometimes if you're dealing with somebody with the terrible phase of a health condition. And what I mean by terrible phase is, think about diabetes. If someone's got an A1C that's between, I don't know, 5.6 and 6.3, they're pre-diabetic, that's bad. Okay. They're not diabetic yet. If their A1C is between 6.4 and 8.9, well, that's worse because they're diabetic. If their A1C is 9.0 or above, well, that's terrible because they probably have blurred vision, poor circulation, or facing amputation, right? So you really want to use the ambulance effect to go in and really hit the people who are serious about fixing this stuff, right? And you've got to get people into your warm network, because if you don't develop a curated opportunity stream, meaning it's consistent and you're filling your warm network up consistently so you can keep picking the fruit from there, it's going to be really tough to have a sustainable business. And then please, for the love of avocados again, lighten your marketing load, get rid of all the complicated stuff. You don't need all that stuff in your backpack weighing you down. And that's what most people do. And then show up in the right ambulance when people need you most. Eléa. Yeah. So before we take off today, I guess the question we need to ask everybody is this making sense? So type below in the comments, it makes sense. Don't put yes, just put sense. I got it. Or if you have a question right now, now is your time to ask us a question before we take off. You've got us in a captivated thing, because marketing is such an important thing when it comes to the business. Because if you don't have marketing, well, you're not going to have any sales. And if you don't have any sales, you're not going to have any cash flow. And if you don't have any cash flow, the business is going to starve. Because the way that we have things set up in our capitalistic society is, well, cash flow is the fuel for business. Cash flow comes from sales. In order to sell something, you have to have something to market. People have to know about it. In order to have something to know about it, you need to know what it is you're offering, and you got to communicate your true value in a certain way. And you got to make sure that your process is set up to make sure they're going to have the biggest wins in the shortest period of time.
Yeah. So we have Benjamin Chambers, who is saying that he posts on Facebook all the time, his workouts and links to his products, and he's not sold a thing. And then he says, I'm going to Google A1C after this. I don't know what it means.
Okay. A1C is blood sugar.
Yeah.
So that's how they measure diabetes. It's basically percent of sugar in your bloodstream, percent of glucose. It's technically HA1C score. It's this thing, but it's blood sugar. So if your blood sugar is above 5.4%, you're pre-diabetic. If it's above 6.4%, you're diabetic. If it's above 9%, which there are a lot of people in America these days, that's where it becomes catastrophic, really bad. And there's a lot of people out there with diabetes who are in DM programs, diabetes management programs, to where they're managing and mitigating the symptoms, they're managing the disease. But we all know what happens when you just manage a disease, it always gets worse. Or what happens is it's a gateway disease into something even more horrible. And my stepfather, Richard, that's what his case was. He had diabetes and he managed it for, oh my God, 35 years? A long time. Long time. Dude liked his desserts. Awesome man, loved him to death, but he managed it right into becoming leukemia. And after being diagnosed with leukemia, Richard passed away. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the reasons why we're so adamant about tipping the scales from sickness to wellness and letting people know that there are functional and integrative ways to improve their health. And Benjamin, if you're out there, if you're posting and you're not getting any traction, stop. You're going to drive yourself nuts. You're going to burn out. You're going to hate your business. You're going to hate what you're doing. You're going to resent everything. Stop, reset, get rid of all that stuff. Go back, look at your structure, look at your messaging, then look at where you're putting the messaging, which is marketing, what we're talking about today. And then once people start engaging with you, that's what we're going to talk about in the fourth and final episode, Enrolling. It's all about
Yeah.
how to get more of the right people to say yes at the right price. Or if you need any specific help or questions, you can comment below and you can reach out to us personally too.
Yeah, I was going to say, Adam, I think, we'll wrap this up for today, but absolutely, if you're watching this later, go ahead, you put your questions down below. Adam and I are in the group all the time, kind of monitoring questions. We also have some of our Move, Think, Smile incredible team members in there as well, and they can support you with any questions that you guys have. And as Adam said, we'll be back next week.
All right, guys, go ahead, comment below. Let us know where we can help you the most with marketing, or if you have any specific questions on marketing. And then, of course, next week or next week or so, we'll be doing part 4, enrolling. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the final episode of A Crash Course in Constraints.